And the only reason it doesn't is because it defaults to the clock that you were born with, not the one you're telling it. The circle of 12 puts you in a multidimensional place where you can begin to speak to your innate. And that is what some of you are feeling, a meld that goes right into your cells. These are the messages that I want to give more and more. What is happening now that is so different from back then, but that we talked about back then when we spoke of the new human in a new normal? And that is what is happening today. And so it is.
I also have a feeling that many of you watching, like me, enjoy crystals. So I have some beautiful crystals with me this evening. I have my labradorite and clear quartz crystal. And so I'd like to use these crystals as an inspiration for a meditation. Because crystals have gone through a process in their creation. The labradorite, for example, it came from igneous rocks, and it was a process of lots of heat and pressure that you had this metamorphosis of creating the gemstone and the crystal that we see. Our planet is filled with so many different variety of minerals and gemstones and crystals that they have gone through such processes, and even being unearthed from the earth, they go through further processes of being polished and tumbled and smoothed. And so I invite you to contemplate, what kind of pressures have you experienced in your life, and things that have polished you over and over to create who you are right now. Because life is happening for you and with you, not to you. Everything that we experience, we have the opportunity of looking at that experience and being polished by that experience. When we overcome life's challenges, we can truly speak to someone else going through that challenge with true empathy, with direct knowledge, direct experience of feeling. And so I ask you to also contemplate how many lifetimes you may have experienced being on the planet. And how many of those lifetimes did you also receive those opportunities of challenge and change? And that well of experience is carried within the very DNA of your cells. You have a gold mine of wisdom that you can access, that you can pull forward. And so I can hear already the next question: how do I do that? It is through giving pure intent and trusting that you will receive exactly what you need. So let us just ask, dear cellular structure filled with beautiful information of my wisdom, of my Akashic experience, please bring out those lifetimes where I was able to hold wisdom, hold compassion, hold love, hold knowledge, and let those attributes come forward. And just trust that the process has already been initiated, and just observe things that will happen for you in this coming week. And so from that posture of connection and love and support, let us now move into hearing the messages from Kryon.
Greetings, dear ones. I am Kryon of Magnetic Service. This is the first channeling of this month. There will be 4, just like always. And in this, we title them. These 4 are going to be the love connection. Dear ones, I cannot speak too much about something that is the core, the seed of the greatest energy that exists. And that is that which comes from the Creator. We'll say this again, perhaps in another channel, but this great love is the image you hear that you are made of. Made in the image of the Creator, and that image is love. And so each one of these channels will feature an attribute of love. All 4 channels available to everyone for free on my partner's website. We're going to start this one with the love from those that you don't see, or those that you think perhaps are even not there, depending upon what you have been told in this culture, depending upon the doctrine that you've learned, pretending perhaps that they're there or not there. What do you think of guides and angels? What do you think of the invisible ones? What do you think of that which some say you're foolish to think beyond yourself, or that you're independent? No one's going to help you. Have you been told that? The opposite is true, and it's true in a manner and an energy that is overwhelming in its truth and its beauty. Dear ones, here is the truth. You don't come here alone, ever. No human comes alone. The soul is something that is a beautiful vehicle that comes with you. It does not stay on the other side of the veil, dear ones. This multidimensionality of your soul is right now sitting in the chair that you are watching this in. It is with you. Now, perhaps that is a little less linear than you wanted to hear, but it's true. And in this soul is you in many forms. That's the multidimensional you. The yous that have been in the past lives that somehow still exist with you. And that which we have talked about before, a guide set, which comes in with you and is the same every single lifetime. The same guides, the same angelic presence is with you. Some have felt, well, it's an extension of me. You're a bit right about that. They feel like you. They're part of the higher self that you say is you. You cannot separate these things into linear groups and faces and numbers. These belong to you in a multidimensional state which don't have singularity or shapes or faces or numbers. And yet, it feels like it. It feels like it because they are so personal. I want to tell anyone watching, this is the first time you've heard of this. I would love for you to sit alone tonight and just call them in. If you're there, show me. Go ahead. And don't be surprised if you allow it and if you mean it when you say it, that there might be some tingling that goes on. And that is a yes. That cause and effect relationship of you opening your heart and asking that question is one of the most beautiful things a human can do. I want you to understand that as they come in with you, there is a tremendous love they bring. The love for you, the soul that you are, the human being in the expression that you are. Their purpose is to help you. That is why they are called guides. They are angelic. You don't see them. You feel them. And in their feeling, they also shape your reality if you let them. They're the ones who are the way if you let them. They're the ones who are the way showers. They're the ones who will help you to go to the right place at the right time, or make decisions through intuition that they will influence, that says this door, not that door. They're the ones that are in the field with you that we have spoken of before. They keep you out of chance, dear ones. There are those who still say, I'm in a turkey shoot, as they say in my partner's country. That is, I'm rolling the dice every day I step out of the house and anything could happen to me. Not if you're in touch with your guides. Not if you understand the purpose of angelic purpose, the reason you're here. These guides are the ones that often keep you safe. But not unless you acknowledge that it's possible or that they're there. Why is that, Kryon? Why do we have to in order to activate, if you want to say that, the guides? And here's the answer. You have free choice not to. Did you hear that? All your life, if you want to ignore all of them and do your best, when you come back across the veil, we're going to have the same party for you as the one who engaged them when they were 4. 4 years old. Do you hear that? That's no judgment. There is no judgment. But there is opportunity. And that is for those who want to understand that there is love when you come here. And they come with you. I want to paint another picture. I've done it so often before. I want to paint a picture. Here you are on this planet, doing the best you can to survive. Trying your best, perhaps, to be a compassionate individual. Trying to dodge that which you call chance. Sounds like you're a victim of the energy all around you because perhaps things don't go well. And here are guides who are sitting looking at you doing nothing because you've never greeted them. You've never said thank you. You've never said, I want you to help guide me. I want you to push my intuition. I want you to help me listen. You've never done it. Perhaps because you've been told they don't exist, or that's silly, or that you have to trust in something else, or perhaps there's a prophet, or perhaps you've been told you can't even talk to God. Somebody else has to do it for you. All of those things get in the way of this perception that you have come in with divinity. But because you have free choice, nothing's going to happen until you activate that. Activating means that you sit again and say, I want you in my life. You're real. I believe it. Thank you for loving me. Can you imagine the love they have for you to watch you flail around, believe what you want to, and all that time, figuratively, they have their hand out saying, take my hand, just do it. Don't you feel us? Don't you understand? Don't believe anyone else but your own core energy. Drop into your heart and see if what you've been told is right, and we will come in if you wish. All your life, they may sit there with their hand out, perhaps to your last breath. That's how much they love you. They never give up. They never give up. They're always there because that's why they're with you. They come with you. Did you know that there's a meeting between all of you before you step into the wind of birth and you come here that says, this time, please, feel us. Don't believe everything you're told. Follow your heart. Believe us. And let us then help guide all the things to take you into the good places where there are no potholes. And intuition will help you meet the right partners and people, so there'll be a lot less of the issues that perhaps you had the last lifetime. Let this be a lifetime of beauty, no betrayal, of compassion and love and good things. That's why they're here. There's so much love. Your guides, your angels are real. They even have your name on them, the name we sing in light that you have. They belong to you. There is a system, dear ones, of love. There is a connection with the love of the Creator, and part of it comes in with you, always with you, waiting for you to acknowledge it so you can move on into a divine reality that you deserve as your lineage of an old soul. I wouldn't tell you these things unless they were real. There's no reason to sell you something when you already have it. I am just telling you to take it. See for yourself if it's real or not. Open that beautiful, beautiful area that will flow into that which is your mind and your heart with a grander truth, perhaps, than you've ever been told. That's why I'm here. I'm here to give you information, perhaps that you've not heard before, that is for you, that is loving, very loving. It's not a doctrine we're asking you to follow. It's love we're asking you to follow, the love of God. I'm crying in love with humanity, continuing to give these lessons so that some of you will have a life change and understand that you're always loved and you're never alone. And so it is. Hi, everybody. I'm Lee Carroll. I am the original channel of Kryon.
You are surrounded by a bubble of benevolence. And this bubble of benevolence is interacting with the nodes and nulls of the planet. And the energy of the nulls, feel that energy pushing up through the bottom of your feet, traveling through your body, and as it moves, it is collecting every negative emotion that does not serve you, that does not honor the magnificence that you hold. And let the energy of those nulls carry this inappropriate energy and push them out through the top of your crown. It is going to push those energies to the nodes. on the planet. And those nodes are so sacred, so powerful, that instantly upon contact, those negative energies that were within your Akash are now transmuted, burned up, cannot exist. Inside of you is the spark of divinity, and it is hooked to the field, and the field is biased in love, and you are surrounded by a bubble of benevolence. Perfect synchronicities are unfolding for you. Expect miracles in your life.
So it is good day to you, huh? So very good to see your love, your light, your brightness, your divine presence, dearest beings of light. As we've just experienced, if you were not here and listening to this future, in the future, then you don't know what we experienced, and therefore you need to come to a live event somewhere in time, huh? We've just seen on the screen all the nodes and nulls and the matching of those power points on the planet. So you see, it is no accident that the vessel Marilyn and the Joy just came from Mount Ida, one of the power sites, the nodes of the planet, to bask in the crystalline waters of Lake Ouachita, to wash away anything that no longer serves. For you see, in these times, they are a changing, to quote some song somewhere. That changing effect is affecting everything on this planet. That is why we bring you to this sacred land here in Unity Village. This land itself was divinely chosen, yes, by Myrtle. She saw the vision, and her intention was to always be in joy, in perfect health, and in joy. That is why she built had the Fillmore Manor built with no kitchen, because she did not like to cook. It was separate from her joy. And we want you to know that is your birthright. Joy. That is indeed your experience, and why from the Pleiades you came here on this planet to radiate that joy. And anything that does not radiate joy within you is just to help you see the difference. Huh? You know, when you're not in your joy, you think, oh, I know what joy feels like, and it gives you a pathway to move back to it. And that pathway, breathe it in. Those sacred steps that you are taking to your joy is a powerful walkway. Our dearest Myrtle, who had the vision, she came through with the focus of being a child of God. Yes, I am a child of God, therefore I live in joy. Well, you are a child of God too. And you know, when you think of that, you know your parents here on this planet, the mother who gave birth to you and the father who fathered you. No matter how you feel about your parents these days, they are still your parents. Yay. Celebrate them, for they gifted you with life. as God gifted you. So you have that same essence. You have that same DNA or whatever structure of your physical parents on this planet. And as they say, you are a child of God. So you have that same divinity within every cell of your body. Now think of that. Or better yet, feel that. And as you feel that divinity, that essence, then you say, I am here to be joy. I am here to be love. I am here to be the true essence of who I am. And then as you breathe into that essence, you feel that rippling effect that goes out to the planet. And as you have that rippling effect out to the planet, every human around you feels that same essence. And as you are simply living the light that you are, just moving about in your everyday world, those around you will want what you have, for they will sense it. Yes? They will feel it, and they will feel, what is different about this one? What is different about this one? They must know something that I don't know. And then you get to just smile. And as you just smile, that radiance flows forth from your essence out into your field, which touches their field. And they are reminded once again of the divinity that is within you and within them. Shift, and the world around you shifts. We've been saying that for many years here on this planet. That is the key. To know that that rippling, heart-centered divinity, breathe into it, that is in your core. It is a part of your lineage, dating back to the Pleiadians, dating back through God, or Source if you prefer the term, is still you. So how can you be anything other than perfect? And all the little bumps along the way, they just add to your perfection, for they give you wonderful stories. And then you can share those wonderful stories. And when you share those wonderful stories, they help teach others to be the teacher that you are. And as you are that teacher, the universe has tapped you on the shoulder or the crown chakra and said, remember who you are. A child of God. The joy that we gave you at your birth is to be radiated throughout this planet. And we are thankful for your service. We are thankful for your presence. We are thankful for your love, your light, your tears, your fears, your joy. And for that, We love you intensely. And we bid you namaste. Namaste.
Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. For those listening who didn't know it, those listening later, perhaps, who didn't hear it, Adiranda has spoken about your birthright. We have said this before in different words. We said it is your lineage. Indeed, your birthright and your lineage is that with free choice, with you cognizing more truth every day, you start to grasp a hold of what you've always had. A maturity of consciousness that starts to lift you out of the fear, the anxiety, of the hurt, of the worry that is so prevalent at the moment that this particular channeling is being given. I am so aware of who listens, and how many actually are there. Every one of you, dear ones, is known by God, all of you. Your names are known. Your past lives are known. How would it make you feel to know that the purpose of Earth and you, an alliance, is known, and that it lays there ready for you to say yes? Imagine that there is something larger that you're to do here. And to some it frightens them and say, well, I've got enough now and I'm worried about this and that. Don't confuse me with another assignment. What if all of this virus, would change not only history but you? This is not a bump along the way, dear ones. The virus is going to be a marker in history where everyone will remember what they were doing and what happened to them. Even the youngest of children will learn it from their parents. What happened to you? They'll say, during the virus, what we did with you to survive during the virus. I'll tell you something, it's in the field, and you'll think it's kind of funny. Already, this virus is going to create fashion changes. In the field, ladies, imagine buying a dress with a matching mask. And when you don't need the mask anymore, there's going to be a button for you to keep it. And it'll hang on you, just in case you need it, even after this is gone. A fashion statement, a remembrance of this time. This is in the field, not just being thought of, but in the works. And there will be so many who will purchase it for fun, and then they'll realize it's a fashion statement. You went through it and you made it. And you'd like to wear that dress. If you never put on the mask, it's still something that will be there and hang there, and people will remember the time of COVID. Let's talk about the time of COVID. What you don't understand is that there also will be celebrations of COVID. And you might say, Kryon, that's not something we can foresee. This is a major time of shift and release. History will show what has happened. And we mentioned that earlier. What will happen now, and to history what had happened, to so much of whether it's your media or whether it's your stores or whether it's your sales, your commercials or whatever, a change due to this time will occur. But the personal change, some of you in the future will look back and say, wow, without COVID, I would never have been released from this and from that. from this company, from this job, from this relationship, from thinking a certain way. Some will say, I got a release of spirit because of this. It sent me into a place of quietness. A place I would never go to, a place that's been known by the Hindus and the monks and the Buddhists for years and years. They've created these places so you could go and be alone and with yourself. Meditative centers, not necessarily what you have in your life, or necessarily for your culture, and you were forced into that spot where you started thinking about you. Your birthright is joy. Your birthright is happiness. Your birthright is being peaceful with your life, even in a busy society. And those who have received that will stand up and say, I never knew it was possible to be busy like this and yet so peaceful with everything that's occurring. It's a knowledge that goes beyond logic. A peace, they say, that passes understanding. A phrase you've heard before that means you really don't have the reason to be peaceful. That would be 3D. But oh, you do. It's an indication, a cognizing of who you are. The relationship that you have with the Creator, a child of God. So no matter what is assailing that which you call frustration, normalcy, whatever, you're still sleeping at night. Because every morning you can say, I will get through this and this or something better. And you're right. As time goes on, you will look backwards. And many of you, as I said, will say, because of COVID, I escaped. Because of COVID, there was a release. And it goes so deeply, dear ones. It's a release of the mud and the mire and the tar that you walk through called old energy, a realization of things you didn't have before. The release of inappropriate things in your life, alliances, friendships, partnerships that shouldn't be there because of your magnificence, because you've moved past them. Let me take you to a time, it's in the field, 2102, 100 years, and give a little more. 2102, 100 years and a little more. There will be a celebration. There may even be a holiday, honoring those who, they say, died in this particular time. But to you and your family, and perhaps your heritage, it might be a celebration. A special kind of food will be prepared. Don't laugh. It'll probably be the food that you had to eat during COVID. There'll be a lot of frozen dinners. And you'll put on a mask just for a moment and take pictures and talk about the day when your family was released or your lineage was released or you found what you found. And it's a celebration. Can you imagine such a thing? Well, I want to tell you, this is in the field because that is what COVID is about. It's a release from the old energy ways that never would have been released without it. They've called it a reboot, which is, of course, a technical term which means come to zero and start over. And the coming to zero and starting over means that all of the old ways, the trainings, the habits, the ways of being, the paradigms, go away. And you come at the puzzle fresh and clean, with no encumbrances of what was there to keep you from changing. That is the release. That is the main thing that COVID has given you. Oh, Kryon, I can go there, but I cannot ignore those who died. There can't be a release when you think about the passing in advance, perhaps, of when they would have gone, of the elderly, of those who are missed so greatly, the sadness that was there. You don't understand. You don't understand. Oh, if I could put them together right now in this room for you, all those who've passed right now in this room, they would yell and they would cheer and they would laugh and they would throw confetti and blow up balloons and say to you, it isn't what you think, it isn't what you think, it isn't what you think. The only sadness is those who've left. There is no sadness for passing into the arms of God where you belong, where you meet the family again. You don't understand. That's a release. It's a different way of thinking indeed. It is a mature way, understanding way, knowingness inside that you are never alone and there is no death. All here will come back and continue the lineage of the old soul and the birthright of joy. And so it is.
So yesterday we went and connected with an animal guide, and I loved the sharing that people had with me about their particular connections, and some interesting things arose where one animal guide connected, but when they emerged outside, it was a different animal. And so that is multidimensional, which is what Kryon keeps telling us to be. So don't be confused by that. Embrace that. If you have an animal guide that comes to you and then it becomes a different animal guide, just know that it is perfect in the moment that you need. And what I would like to do is to continue that connection that we have created with our animal guide, if that's okay with everyone else, to go in and connect and keep traveling with our animal guide. So with that, I invite you to go to that place where you connected with your animal guide and greet each other. Welcome, hello, thank you, I see you. Thank you for this beautiful connection we share. And once you've established that connection, let us continue our journey as we walk along a path and we come across a river. And the river is the river of learning. And there is a desire to cross this river of learning and arrive into the land of knowledge. And so together with your guide, what is the way that you are now going to cross that river of learning? Take a moment to work out how together you are going to cross that river of learning. And trust that those answers are already there. Because there's been many, many times you have crossed your own river of learning. And as you're in that river of learning and going through now, realize how easy it actually is to do that, especially that you have guidance from your animal guide helping you to do so. And so now as you come across the shoreline, you come up onto the land of knowledge. And what is that knowledge that you now have? is it possible that within you, you have the ability to manifest and connect with the guides that you need for whatever situation you come across? And there is a willingness from the guides that come within you and the ones that come to greet you. For the animal guides, which are part of Gaia, are still a part of you. You came from the earth. You are made of carbon. Within you is the biology that grew from this planet. And so those animal guides that connect with you are part of you. And so here you stand in the land of learning, ready for the next lesson.
Allow yourself to extend the learning and the knowledge that you are receiving from your guide, as Monica so beautifully guided us, from the animals, from your own personal guide that emerged from you here in the valley, to also extend yourself more into the land, connecting yourself as we're sitting here all together in the slope of a beautiful area, looking over on the other side, this teardrop arch, and beneath us is the beautiful valley of Monument with its peaks and columns. The air is blowing softly, caressing us, loving us, welcoming us, greeting us, blessing us, just as we bless it back from our hearts in gratitude, with love, with our compassion, with our presence, our beingness here, just being together, honoring the sacredness of the community, the people, the souls that are the caretakers of this land, and their ancestors that came before them. And feeling more of that collective unity and connection we all share with all living beings, with all living souls, animals, and the plants and the rocks. They all have consciousness. They all have different levels, different forms of energies. And this is such a beautiful space. We can deepen our connection to Mother Earth, to Gaia, as Father Sky looking upon us and smiling, with the multidimensionality that exists in everything and everywhere. Breathe and allow yourself to feel even more your sacredness, your beauty, your magnificence, your light and divinity and connection to Source, to God, to Creator, to Spirit that has no beginning and no end, that was always here and always will be, that love us unconditionally, beyond anything we could ever comprehend, but we can deeply feel when we allow ourselves to love ourselves more with our hearts. So breathe consciously, slowly, even more, connecting yourself right now, right here, in this moment, that will echo later on for you, whenever you want, when you tune back into this specific moment in this tour. Nijoni. beauty, beauty all around us.
Greetings, dear ones. I am Kryon of Magnetic Service. The meditations before this, the information, it holds energy. It asks you to participate. But when channeling is done, it opens a mini portal. That's what the channeling is, dear ones. The portal is not massive. It's not like some that you would open with groups. It's a minuscule one of connection, but it's a portal. And before I will do this, on this sacred land, in front of those perhaps who steward the land, before I will do that, I am going to ask permissions of the guardian of the canyon, those who have watched over this, who have watched over the stewards of the land, and have come before anyone else. I am going to ask permission for that portal. Sometimes it makes no difference to have a group come in and have a spiritual portal open and a channel given in most lands. But when you deal with these kinds of lands, you deal with that which is truly a beautiful hierarchy of stewardship, of those who would honor this particular place and have for centuries. With that permission given, we can continue for the days that remain. And for those perhaps listening who know the Kryon work, you may say, well, we haven't really done that before much. And I will tell you, we've done it every single time it was needed. We are so aware of that which is here, which might not be in other places that we channel. Dear ones who are here, sitting before me on the rocks, this is a perfect scenario. You sit on sacred land, stewarded by those who are the ancients and the daughters and sons of the ancients, in a beautiful sunlit place where all around you is the glory of Gaia. It doesn't get much better. And for those of you who wish to open your hearts at this moment and listen, I wish to present to you something that I have presented for more than a year and a half. But now I want to qualify, quantify, explain perhaps a little more. This shift that this planet is in has been prophesied by these ancients. You are sitting in their prophecy. So this is not new to them. All that has transpired in these past few years, difficult that it might be, was anticipated by those who have followed the prophecies and know the land. And in this shift, there is something happening regarding the consciousness of humanity. We've told you now for 33 years to expect something that you didn't expect. Who would have thought that the old energy of the planet, which is still raising its head right now, that energy eventually would go and be supplanted or replaced by a softer energy of caring, of compassion. I'll call it a family energy that says we do not want war. A family energy that says what is there that we have missed in that which we consider God, or that which comes from the love source, the creative source of all things. In other words, a consciousness that starts to advance itself in its own thinking. It raises itself to places it has never been before. This was the direct prophecy of the ancients all over the planet. And now you sit in that place. And in this, there are some new tools. I'm going to call them tools. But what they are is new awarenesses for you. If you are going to be one that I call old soul graduates or ascended ones someday, your ancestors someday, if that's going to happen, and we have predicted that it will, there has to come a time when you become more multidimensional and less linear. The linearity is that which you experience every day of life in the 4 dimensions you live and work in. But the dimensions that you can start to work with, that are indeed the dimensionality of Earth, of Gaia, of the guardians here, of the canyon, those dimensions you can start to see. And what I mean by seeing is not with your eyes. It's with the senses that you have beyond your eyes. The ones that so many know are there. Ones represented by the third eye, the bindi mark, the pineal, and so many of those who would celebrate in song and dance even here. It's a celebration of things that are greater than you can conceive of in 4D. I want to introduce you to the ability to communicate with your soul. In order to do that, a brief summary of what the soul might be. What do you think of when somebody speaks the word soul? In the modern day religion of the times of this land, not the land we sit upon, but the culture of the greater continent, a soul is something you receive at birth often. Somehow it is apart from you, but it's very much aware of you, because when you pass, somehow that soul then gets rewarded or punished. And that is the purpose of the soul. I will tell you, dear ones, that's the kindergarten of all thinking when it comes to spirit. How many of you can feel in the sunlight, in the wind, that there is a consciousness of the land? Right now, that knows your name. That's because the land, Gaia, we call it, Pachamama, some call it, the love of the earth, is connected to the Creator. How could it not be? Everything you see around you was made at the same time. And dear ones, your soul was there to watch it. Your soul is the spiritual part of you, the God part of you. It is part of God. The creative source always existed, and with that creative source were trillions and trillions of that which were the source's partners, which we call souls. Did you know that? Were you ever told that? That makes the soul part of God. That makes you part of the Creator. When you come to this planet, all of that is hidden. As you begin the test of consciousness, which you are now in. But right now, you are in a crux that is going to change the planet very slowly. And in that, I invite you to meet your soul. And there will be those who ask how and what. And that is the subject of the channels in this great land. Wherever that takes us in this tour, these are the channels. The soul is accessible. In the circle of 12, we cross a bridge to get there. In the meditation of the partner Monica, it was the river that you crossed to take you there. There always is a barrier of thinking between 4 dimensions, practicality, and who you think you are to the next level. Some call it dream time. There are so many names that the indigenous will give it because they go there regularly. They go to that which is an upper world or an underworld to see things they need to see. There are so many stories of shamans which will then go to places, receive the information they need from that which is their spiritual soul, and come back and deliver their wisdom. Even that which is in the Old Testament, the metaphors are everywhere of this same property. Moses goes alone up the mountain to receive instructions. He is the shaman of that, his clan. It's everywhere, dear ones. And now we bring it home to you. Every single human being, old soul, has the ability to cross a bridge by themselves, if they choose to, and meet sections of their soul. This is the premise for the entire tour. And slowly I'm going to give you basic information about what is in your soul. Some of you already know, but I want you to understand it so greatly that you'll understand that it's not something separate from you any longer. That is what a higher consciousness brings, a higher connection to spirit, a higher connection to the land. It's an advancement, dear ones. And that higher connection, some have called a higher vibration, means more than just you sitting on a rock and singing. As some people say, that is what it is. It is not. It is far more spiritual, practical. It takes you someplace for a reason. If you're going to be in ascension status on this planet, you're going to have to understand a multi-dimensional connection, what the shamans know. And that is what we invite you to start understanding as we progress in this. It's going to sound a lot like Circle of 12, because we're going to ask you in every single lesson for your permission to go across a 4-dimensional bridge or barrier into a multi-dimensional place. And I'll describe it for you. You don't have to even imagine it. I'll tell you what's there. And I do that so that you will understand you can do it. And there are those who would sit and say, why? Beyond that, which is a higher consciousness of humanity, what happens to me? And that's where it gets good. Dear ones, it means longer life. It means more joy. It means understanding the not understandable. Have you ever sat and pondered why things are happening to you? Have you ever sat and pondered why things are happening to the earth the way they are? Have you ever sat and asked your own guides what's next because you're at a dead end? I'll tell you this, all of those answers are there for you. You become your own guide when you're in connection with your own soul. This is dramatic. It's more than was expected. It's controversial in metaphysics, and there will be those who tell you it's not possible, it never was possible. And if there are those around, I will tell them, it's time you read the prophecy of the ancients, because they told you it was coming. And it is. That's what to expect. And these, the few lessons to follow. What is there? What could possibly be there? that can help you on your life. Healthy, younger, all of these things are possible because you figure things out and you rest in the love that is there. If you know what's happening, you don't have anxiety or fear. And that's your soul telling you what's happening. Do you understand the premise? The deeper you go into that which is yourself and your own spirituality, the more you relax, the more you can laugh, the more you find yourself smiling for no reason, and you realize that there is truth when you hear, "Be still and know you are God." How would you like to have comfortable answers to difficult problems? That's available. We'll start that tomorrow. You're in a perfect place for this. Feel it. Understand it. Expect it. And lastly, this. If you're here, sitting on a rock, and you're saying, "This is a mystery to me. I really haven't done this much. I don't know where to begin." Here are my instructions. Number one, do you believe in the creative source? I think the answer would be yes. You call it God. Number two, do you believe a truth I've given you? That God, Spirit, knows who you are. And that there is angelic energies here on the rocks with you. Yes or no? Then here are your instructions. Dear Spirit, I'm in the dark. On some things, show me what it is I need to know. Take my hand and let's cross that bridge of knowledge together so I won't have to figure it out myself. And that's when the magic begins. It's called pure intent. You are heard. Definitely, you're heard. Gaia hears you now. Spirit hears you now. The guardians of the canyon, the ancients that have passed through here, they smile because you have just done what they know is possible. I am in Kryon, in love with humanity. And so it is.
How beautiful. So I'm going to continue our journey with our animal guide, because we had, the last time we were doing this, we went through the Valley of Wisdom and we connected deeply with our inner child. And we emerged from that Valley of Wisdom and took a step out. But where did we step out into? That's what we will do now. And so I invite you to close your eyes and be in that moment where you have embraced your inner child and you're stepping out and you are reaching into the realm of infinite possibilities. This is a realm where anything and everything is possible. And as you move around in this realm, you begin to see others that have emerged into the realm of infinite possibilities. And you might see groups of you moving around, and you become attracted to where everyone is hovering. What are they looking at? There is an area there filled with travel bubbles where you can step into a travel bubble and you can explore any area on the earth from the micro to the macro. As this bubble shrinks, so do you. You can go exploring all areas of the earth. You can be face to face with a dragonfly. You can become as big as an airplane and travel around. But that's not the only thing in the realm of infinite possibilities. You can go and explore an area where you have a talents and abilities suit that you or becoming an animal. And this is so funny for the animal guides, watching these funny humans try and put on the animal suits. And as you keep wandering around this realm of infinite possibilities, you almost see like there's a double-sided mirror. And as you get closer, you peer through and you can see a face looking back at you. And this face, there's many faces, and they are all the faces of the young children who are constantly living in the realm of infinite possibilities. And as you realize that this too is available to you, you connect back in with your animal guide, ready to move into whatever realm and whatever challenge you have, because you know that all of the answers truly are within you.
And those in the infinite realm of possibility, extend yourself even more, your possibility of bubble, creating one unified possibility of bubble here together energetically, heart, energy field, vibration, frequency, resonance, color, tone, that you can feel yourself going into deeper into your multidimensionality in this sacred and very sweet spot, in this enclave that we are honoring with our hearts and our presence, the keepers, the guardians, the ancient ones that lived long before us and those that live here now. We feel their heart, we feel their presence, we feel their compassion and love and honoring for their home. We are in their home, we are in their land, and we are invited to share it for this few moments. So let us connect deeper again with Mother Earth, with the elements, elementals that we are bathing in, the energies that are here, that are coming to you, to speak to you, to whisper to you something that you may not expect. They're telling you through the wind, through the rocks, through the trees, through the creepy crawlers, through the animals, through the sound and through the silence. So open fully your senses, your inner senses, your consciousness, to merge, meld, and integrate this moment and this beauty all around you, above, below, to the sides. Feel the extension, feel the connection, feel the meld and allowance that simply takes you there, your being. Put aside the intellect for these few moments and just allow your being to carry you there, into that space, in a land that has no beginning and no end. No beginning and no end. That soothes your heart, that pours love into you from the Great Spirit, from beyond, from God, Creator, and all that is, the great I am that I am, lives within you right now and always. And you find that connection, that unshakable bond, that conduit that you are between heaven and earth, expressing it right now fully in your magnificence, in your love, in your kindness, in your open-heartedness, in balance and harmony, and in the joy of your inner child that loves to travel and play in the field of infinite possibilities. Breathe and allow your breath to connect you even deeper into this space, into the souls of the rocks, into the dirt of the earth, into the water that's beneath us, into the atmosphere and the sky. Breathe and love yourself even more. Allow yourself to expand yourself even more, even more.
Greetings, dear ones. I am Kryon of Magnetic Service. The messages from these sacred places talk about something that is happening on the planet right now that is different from any time before. We've spoken of the communication with your soul, and we will again this time. We also enhance the information about the shift, which we have been doing all along. The energies, especially those around the light workers, the old souls, are very profound. In this time, there's also something else happening. I told you that when this planet starts to shift in consciousness, other things start to shift as well. Awarenesses, abilities, new inventions starting to come your way. It should tell you that there's also a physics change, perhaps, that goes along with consciousness. And there is. Measurable it is. Here is something I'm going to repeat because now it is critical that you know this, all those who listen. Number 1 and 2 to combine together, and they're this. The darkness and the light have more influence and power right now than ever before. The darkness and the light have more influence and are powerful right now than ever before. That is wonderful news for the old soul. The light worker spreads light. That means that light is going to spread faster, further, and be listened to more accurately than ever before. And the same goes with the dark. I would like to present a picture to you. Two scenarios. You walk into a friend's home. And in that friend's home, the television is on, and they're telling how bad the virus is in their area. And you listen to it, and they are saying, and they're nodding their head, and they're taking notes, yes, it's going to get worse, much worse. We have to prepare for it. We have to do this, and we have to do that. We don't know how bad it's going to get. That's what happened here in this Navajo nation. Now, how did that affect you? Did you brush it off? Or did you sleep with it that night, and perhaps the day after that, and the day after that? Scenario 2. You go into a friend's home. They see you coming, they turn off the television set, and they start laughing, and they greet you. And they say, we have some wonderful news. This and that has happened. Did you hear about this birth? We're having such a good time here, even though there's a virus. We're making the best of it. We invite you to take a look at this television program, and they turn on the television, and there's a comedy movie. And you have a wonderful time that night. And you hug each other, and you leave. Now, you've got to be a fairly low consciousness not to see the difference. The difference is this. One was as bad as the virus. It infected those around them. And you carried it with you, and you worried. The light is the same. It goes further. But it stays with you. And here's now what I want to tell you that is so critical. One spreads fear, and one spreads light. So I ask all of the light workers who are listening to me right now, and all of those, which one fits you? We do certain things, they say, as human beings that are habit. My partner tells me all the time, and that he says things, and he's sorry afterwards that he says them just to himself, because he realizes that they have a negative slant, and they do. That it's habit that you grow up with, that you do certain things, that you think other people want to know and enjoy, and all you've done is to frighten them. And then they go home and stay frightened. Is that what you came for? Here's what I want to tell you that is so wonderful about communication to your soul today. Right now, I want to give you this information that tags on to and hooks up with the last time we were together telling you about the soul. Imagine you were in that soul, and we told you there is a library, and you can see a library in your mind. You've all been to one. And in that library was all of the past lives you've ever lived, and all those whose names are there etched that you can call on any time. We invited you to go back and pick off the shelves the attributes that you need today. As strange as that might sound. How many of you went back to pick up sickness and fear? And the answer is none of you. You go back and you find the things that make you healthy, happy, and contain more light. Right now, I want to tell you that the thing that is missing in so many light workers is joy and laughter. That's missing. And the reason why is because the old energy often stuffed it down on you. You are light workers, and that was something that nobody understood. It is hard to walk this planet in light when there's darkness around you. There's not much to laugh about. There's not much to then become anything but serious about. Some of you felt you were in survival mode, even as a light worker. I'm telling you now that light is a bubble that will support you. Wherever you go, it will push against that which is the dark, if you maintain the light, if you're speaking those things of the light. I invite you to go into that Akashic record of yours and find the cheerful one, the smiling one, the one that understands the inner child. What was it like when you were a child? Those of you who had a good childhood, and I know not all did. Do you remember those times when laughing was all you wished to do? Having fun was all you wished to do. There were no cares. There are those who would object and say, yes, but there are cares today. And I'll tell you this, that inner child will cover them up. They won't go away. Those cares, you are caring people. You're in a world that has a duality. But laughing and being joyful at all the times you can be will make you live longer. We need you here, soldiers of the light. We need you here. If you will laugh more and you will go find that which gives you more joy, you're going to have more time on this planet to show others what light is, not what dark is. What comes out of your mouth to others? Is it joyful? Is it fearful? Think about this. Because you are the only ones who listen to this now, who can make this change, because joy coming out of an old soul and a light worker is like firing off a light cannon. It goes so far. These are words of wisdom that apply to all light workers, no matter what your opinions, no matter what you do. And it's never changed. Darkness creates fear. Light is an infectious, joyful attitude that moves the dark in front of it as it walks even. You are protected. Did you know that? In this new area of energy you walk in today, you designed to be here, you asked to be here, you have a bubble of light, and wherever you walk, the darkness cannot touch you. That is the new energy, the new tools. I have told you repeatedly about these things. Why don't you stand tall and try it? The darkness will recede from you. It's the reason now that in some of the meetings that I have asked to be set up, they no longer sage. Because the energy starts clearing as soon as the light worker walks in the room. They are their own clearing. That is how powerful that is. So what have you cleared today? What have you said today? What is it you wish to do with that new power? I invite all of those who are interested in this to take that journey into your soul, to that Akashic record. And if you're not happy with who you are in the light joy department, go find the you that was and paste it upon yourself and start realizing there is a reason to be joyful. A good reason. Light is going to win. But it has to be with a light worker who understands these kinds of things right now. You're not the one who was in the past. This is not your grandfather's world. This is a good place to have this channel. The ancients are listening. They know of these things as well. They had their own ways of helping one another. And part of that was laughter. Have you noticed something? Every indigenous that you've met smiles at you. In these lands that you've been in, these nations, they are readily available to laugh for you. They want to tell you stories that are fun. They have a joke or two. Almost all of them. They have suffered so much in so many ways, and yet they understand the principle of laughter and joy as promoting health and happiness within their family. And they share it to you as often as they can. They are our teachers today. And so it is.